Hello, welcome back to the final day of Madvent and also Christmas! The final entry of the month that isn't very spooky, but you know what it kind of is! Christmas is basically a horror month as well. Christmas and horror have always been associated for a very long time, and I'm glad that we always get this collection, despite some misses, but also some great games in there too. We are ready to finally end this on day 25. Let's do it, shall we? Part 6. It's a movie. Who's that?
Gosh, at this speed, we're gonna crash right into the North Pole? One of these should be the brake, right? Yeah. They're stuck.
Stand back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you should do it.
Oh, those puppies are stuck.
Oh no. Well, I guess we're all gonna crash into the North Pole, aren't we?
You could ask it to slow down.
Not our chance in hell.
Well, that leaves me out of ideas. Adios.
Wait!
Wait, no, why you just jumped off?
Agreed. Time to land the ship. Later.
Golly, no!
Please, come
Where'd he
on.
go?
As much fun as being soup sounds. I think we should jump too. You can float with that bag of yours still, right?
Yeah, just float up the bag, it makes
Yeah, but
sense.
if we jump, we're just gonna barrel right to the North Pole. It'll be New Spook City all over again.
And if you don't, you'll be smashed to pieces by the impact. Not really helping either way. You might as well save yourself.
It's true.
Whitey, please, let's go.
Oh no, we're about to crash. Oh, it took too long to monologue. Oh no! Threatened by Vladimir Law. That's it! I guess they all died in the crash. That was wonderful. I'm gonna get a list up of all the games I played through and just quickly have a look at it. Oh, it's gonna be difficult to do that. Oh shit! Well, I just cut out the intro. Well, fuck. Oh, look, we actually crashed. Oh, we didn't actually crash into the city. We crashed here, which is good. That looks great. Okay, well, I guess we can go through the games, and I'm going to not rank them, but I guess put them in the tier list I usually do. Let me get up my PureF file, and we'll just quickly do that in a format that would work ideally well. I think what I'll just do is I'll just download my thumbnails. Oh, I don't actually have all the thumbnails available. That isn't going to work. I tell you what, I'll be back in a sec. I'll make the thumbnails and we can continue this part. And hello! Welcome to the finale of Madvent. As an addendum to that finale, where I wanted to go for each game and put it in the tier list here. Now, just to make a disclaimer before we go into this, I didn't want to be like, if it's blah, that means it's awful. It's more so a personal enjoyment sort of tier list. I'm not being critical about this. It's just how much I enjoyed the game itself. And say the person watching it and sees that I might put their thing in blah or meh, that doesn't necessarily mean I think the game is bad. I just didn't enjoy it or have certain complaints about it. This is all a very happy feedback environment, so hopefully people don't take it too closely. It's just a bit of fun at the end of this, just to kind of get an idea and an overall summary of how much I enjoyed these games. But let's begin in a random order of day 13. Christmas Lights, I think it was called, or Light the Sky, where we put some baubles up or stars up in the sky. And I think, considering what it's meant to be and the sort of game that it's meant to be, I'm going to put it in perfect. It's exactly what it set out to do. It's a community-based game where we ran around, did some fun stuff for a little bit, and I really enjoyed that part of it. It was lovely, and it felt like as a Madvent community we kind of could get together for a second and enjoy ourselves. And yeah, that's my overall opinion of that one. Moving on, we have the first. In fact, I'm going to do all these at the same time because they are all basically the same thing. I'm not going to rank them all separately. I'm going to put them in booping as what they are, as they are sort of these chapter ends, these end notes to each of the games we've gone through. And I purposely enjoyed all of them. In fact, I love the style they went for of these. I can't remember them doing this in previous years, having this story running through. Maybe they didn't have enough games, so they had to make their own stuff in there too to make up for the lack of them. But I'll put them in booping as well, because I thought it was nice to get a bit of story with the characters, and also surprisingly some well-made cutscenes in this collection. All made by a pretty small team, mind you. I thought that was wonderful. Day 11, oh, the space game. I quite enjoyed the space game, but I didn't think it was perfect. I had issues with certain elements of it, like the combat felt a little bit sloppy, would be the word. So I'm gonna put it in booping. I loved the feel of it, and I thought it was really cool. Definitely one of my favorites. I think it's also one of the longer playthroughs I had out of all of them. So yeah, that could definitely go in booping. Moving along, we've then got day 10. Now, I really like this one. I didn't enjoy it as much as the other kind of story game we went through in this collection. But considering what it was, and how short it was, and how close to the point it was, I'm going to put it in this column. It could be nice. I realised I didn't make these columns that big, but I can rescale it. It's fine. I'll do that afterwards at some point. Moving on though. Day 9. Now, this is one of the ones that I didn't love, and it kind of foreshadowed some of the later ones being a little bit unfinished. But I didn't hate it. I like the concept of it, and it was short and to the point. I like the style they went for too. So I'm going to put it in alright. It was nice, it was short and sweet, but didn't have too much substance to leave too much of a mark in my mind, really. Day 8, however, this is one of my favourite ones in all of this. It was a massive dating simulator with a cool concept for a story and getting a bunch of people from hell together. Now, I did terrible in this, but I ended up enjoying it enough for it to become a whole thing. So yes, I'm going to put that in perfect. Highly suggest checking that out. That was one of the longer parts in the play. I think that was like an hour-long video in the end. So yeah, go check that out if you like that sort of thing. Right. Day number 4. This is a snowboarding one. I remember enjoying this to a certain extent, but looking back on it now, after some of the other games that were in the collection, because it was so early on, I think I enjoyed it more than I probably will now if I came back to it. And I'm going to put it in alright, because I tell you what, despite being what it is, after finding out that the Pentagons, you could just drive through those too, yes, they're not as good as driving through the upside down crosses, but I thought, fuck it. It was a fun game and I enjoyed the concept behind it, and I can't really complain about that. Alright, day 23 is IVP 1, 2. Now actually I'm going to rank these two in separate positions because I thought they were both really good. But I definitely enjoyed the first one more. I don't think it was perfect though, because I still encountered the issues I encountered in the second one where I didn't know where to go. So I'm going to put it in booping. Now grab everything that isn't the background, please. There we go. I should have made the booping category bigger, knowing how many I'll put in there. To be fair, booping, if you're in booping, that's basically, I really enjoyed it. Alright is, I enjoyed it, but there were certain elements I was like, about. And I'm going to put RVP 2 in there. I didn't hate RVP 2, but it felt like it was purposely being trolly towards the end of the toilet. That's not the bad thing about it. It was more so, compared to the first one, I felt like the terrible locations weren't as easy to find. And I realised saying terrible is a terrible way of phrasing that, but that's what they are. They are terrible locations. They were terrible locations for those tears. Day 22. I'm going to put this in there. That's the shooting minigame we played quite recently. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't finished. And that's going to go for a few of the ones we've still got to go through. We only got the endless mode, and even then it wasn't a finished game. All we could do is shoot them, and we ran out of ammo, and we couldn't kill them past that point. I just thought that it felt like it wasn't done. It needed more time to be baked in the oven, and I'm hoping that this dev might come back next year with the full game. We can probably play that on Madvent, or if not, and they want to release it as its own thing, I might check that out as well, but we'll see. overall, though, I thought it was, it wasn't really anything, really. Day 7, this is going to go in perfect. Because despite being very short and one note in terms of ideas, I loved the visual style of it. This entire game was carried by the visual style. I thought it was utterly brilliant how it looked. I want to play more games from this dev after that. Out of all of these, this is the one I wanted. I checked out the dev immediately afterwards to find out other games they've made because I loved how it looked. And also the concept was cool too. We're playing an elf trying to refuel Santa's nightmare sleigh. That was great. I love that. And now day 21. Ah, yes. I'm going to put this in Bel-Air because it wasn't even a game. Now, I'm going to admit that the idea behind a snowy blizzard with you running through it is scary, but there wasn't a game in this. It was a 2-minute cutscene that felt more like a trailer for the game itself, and I can't really rate it highly for that. If it was more of something, it was more of anything, I could put it in there at least, but I can't because I don't even know what it was. So, yeah, unfortunately, that is going to have to go in there, in Blair. Day 17. This is the one I stopped playing, isn't it? Yes. I remember now, this is the one I had to stop playing because I did not enjoy the overall product of it. I'm going to put this in there. And this is one of the harder ones to justify. Well, actually, no, it isn't. That one puzzle we did, that's my entire justification as to putting it in there. Because I would never have thought to do that because there wasn't enough indication that was what the puzzle solution was involving the 5-year-old and 2053 or whatever it was date. I did not enjoy that aspect of it. The performance issues were my own fault, but after seeing that puzzle, I was like, no, I'm done. I can't play this anymore. I am finished with it. Maybe other people enjoyed it more, and they might have ranked it more highly, but that is where I'm going to put day 17, I think. Right. Moving on to day 16. I'm also going to put this in there. Now that might be let's kind of just go down a little bit. That might also be a bit of a controversial one. I like the idea of the scary stories being told in the background. Issue with it, however, is the fact that it went over the puzzles. And I couldn't concentrate on them because they were talking about the stories. The options I had were A, stop doing the puzzles and listen to the entire story and then continue, which kind of takes away from the whole point of the map, I think, where it was about the scary stories. Or 2, do the puzzle during them, and it just ended up causing a mess. And I couldn't even complete it towards the end, because this, similar to day 17, put the escape button as closing the game. So I ended up getting a little bit frustrated with these two. Not necessarily because of the game, but because I have muscle memory that I can't get out of. So yes, that's going to go in there. Hopefully the dev will make another game. And figure that out during next year's Madvent if we decide to do another one that year. Right, day 20, the Amazon delivery day, or delivering presents to Santa. It's a hard one. Because I want to put it in alright, because it looks great, the style is fantastic, and it is a complete game at least. But I broke it towards the end. The enemies were there for no reason, didn't serve any purpose, and the toy/present feature bugged out. And now that I say that, I am gonna put it in meh. I really wanted this to be good because I love the art style and I thought it was really interesting how the movement system worked, but to be honest I just didn't understand it and it felt like it was unfinished. But that is going to go in there, unfortunately. And as you can see, the later games are more leaning towards the bottom than the earlier ones. I definitely feel like they put the bigger hitters in the beginning to kind of bring you into play it, and then the worst ones are towards the end. And I don't remember them doing that before. I thought before that they were usually balanced in not balanced in how bad they were, but balanced in the quality level, at least being consistent through them. It felt like this year the quality control wasn't as good. Day 15. I'm going to put this in Poopin'. Mainly because I really liked it. If I had more time to actually redo it, I would 100% come back to it. But for now, that was a really solid game, and I'm not going to explain too much about this one, really. I would advise checking it out yourself because it reminded me a lot of old classic point-and-click adventure games like Sanatorium and other such ones. I haven't played too many of them, but I have played Sanatorium and that was great. And I enjoyed the time limit feature and how weird the people were in this game and how they were scared of the snow and didn't know what it was, and it ended up leading to some kind of fucked up things occurring in that one. I wouldn't say that was too scary. Yeah, none of these games were too scary. I think the scariest that they got was probably RIVP or Day 7, and even then it was more spooky than scary. Day 3 was awesome. It was short, it was sweet, and I want more of it. Honestly, I would put it in Boopin just because I want more of it, and I feel annoyed we didn't get enough of this sort of game. That was amazing. It's on the same level as Day 7 in my books. I thought that was brilliant. Again, point-and-click adventure, very simplistic in its execution. You're just moving around in this fixed environment with weird things occurring, abstract, strange anomalies in the world. I love that aspect of it, and I want to play more. This is also one of the games I went back to immediately after I played it to see who made it, because I loved it. Day 5, now this is also one of the earlier ones that I think in retrospect I might put a little bit lower now, but saying that, compared to some of these, I will say that it is a complete game. And because of that, I'm going to put it in alright. I think it's definitely at the high end of alright because it is a complete game, and it reminds me of old Flash games, surprisingly. Like these old parkour, really cool epic story from the 2000s sort of art vibe going for, and the art style also reminded me of Flash games a lot. And if that was what I was going for, excellent. If it wasn't, that's fine too. But again, at least it was complete. That's what's boosting it up over somebody others. Oh, Day 19! Oh boy! Well, we know exactly where that's gonna go. Yes, Day 19 was a video game that existed. I did not like this. I think I disliked it more than the trailer game. Because unlike the trailer game, where there's a potential behind it, and it had an interesting vibe going for it, this one literally felt like it was unfinished. It was 2 minutes long. You got attacked by a 0 polygon creature, and then it said wake up, and the text was cut off in the game over screen. I don't need to explain any more about this one. I just did not enjoy that at all. It's worth watching for me being surprised by that and being utterly dumbfounded. But yeah, that's it. Right, 2 more. Day 14. I don't want to be hard in this game because I really like the art style and it was at least partially complete. But I just didn't know what was happening, and this is one of the few games I had to use a guide for to try and understand it. So I'm gonna put it in meh. It's high-end meh, and I hope the devs continue making horror games like this. But I'm going to say that it wasn't my favourite, and the magic system broke for me and didn't work. Ooh. So I'm just gonna put it there. Oh, stop it. There we go. And the final game, the elf game, I'm gonna put it in perfect. Surprisingly, I thought that despite it being very goofy and silly, it did what it set out to do, and that was be a FPS present coal shooter with mafia and elf members in it. It had these beautiful N64 cutscenes in it, as you can see in the thumbnail. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But yeah, that is it in terms of games. I need to make the Boopin category a little bit bigger, same with the Mare category. But yeah, that is all the games in this collection. I hope you all enjoyed the playthrough. I ended up having to go through a lot of games here in a very quick amount of time. But I tell you what this has done for me. This has definitely made me want to do a lot of other smaller indie games. Might even go back and do some indie showcase stuff. But I love doing stuff like this, having a day and creating a nice orderly list. And we could finally complete with a happy smile and a thumbs up at the end. And yeah, that's it. That's Madvent for this year. I don't know if I'll be back next year, but we'll see. The night is young, the year is still yet to come and be birthed. But we'll see what happens in 2024 either way. I hope you all enjoyed the playthrough, and I'll see you again next time. And Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.